Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the KONTAINEROZ podcast. The podcast is sponsored by PortPro, the leading operating system for drayage carriers. Schedule a demo today at portpro.io, and don't forget to mention Containeros for 10% off. Today in the studio, I have Daniel Baca, the VP of Carrier Success at PortPro.
Yeah, good morning. Good
What's
morning. How
up?
are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for coming, man.
Good. Got my morning coffee here.
Yeah,
Keep me going.
You sat, you comfy right there?
Yeah, I'm very comfortable.
All right. So, Daniel, tell us a little about yourself.
Oh, myself. What can I say? I'm a California kid, born and raised in California. So I love the California lifestyle. With the school out here, grew up out here. Then, once I became of age, I joined the military, the Army. Did that for a while. After I did that, came back home, started working, going to school, doing those things. And then, I don't want to date myself, but I'll just say the early 2000s. How about that? That gives a good little range of
You're the
my
forever
timeline.
You're the forever 21 type.
Thank you.
Yeah, you look 21. Yeah.
Well, when I let the beard grow out, then it's a whole different story.
Wow.
So, but I keep it nice and clean these days.
All right. I wish I could grow a beard. Some of the recommendations of how to grow one I won't discuss, but they're pretty fucked up because, yeah, they're crazy and they don't work.
Well, I can grow a beard overnight if I needed to.
Wow. Impressive.
There you go. Yeah. So you think?
How were you introduced to the drayage world?
Oh, I was introduced to the drayage world when I was going to college.
Yeah.
I got offered a job at that time she was my girlfriend, but her father had a trucking company.
Okay.
So I was offered a job to run the yard at night. So I'd go to school, then I'd go to work in the morning. Work in the morning, go to school in the afternoon, vice versa, whatever my schedule was like. But every day at 5 o'clock, I went to the yard, and everybody went home, and I just maintained the yard at night. So mind you, back then, there was no night gate. So I didn't have to do any dispatching or anything, but I just had to maintain the drivers that were just delivering after, late hours and stuff. And keep the yard open and maintain the yard and collect paperwork, fill out things like T-cards. I don't know how many of you out there remember T-cards, but I had to fill out the T-cards for the next day.
What's a T card?
T-card. That's taking it back a little bit. But so a T-card is just a big metal, little tiny card, index card holder they would put on the wall. It'll be metal. And the T-card looked like a little T, and it looked like the shape of an index card. And they would write the shipment information on there. Container number, time it was out, where it went to, and you would put it in different slots as the container was delivered. So if it was at the port, it was on that big metal wall bracket, and you slip the card in there, and then you can say it was that port, and then when they picked it up, you went to the wall, and you moved that card from port to yard or customer, where it was located at, wherever you dropped it at.
So you forgot that? What would happen?
As you see, I just told you how the process works. I didn't forget that flow. But that's the way we used to keep things updated back then.
Wow. So someone with a bad memory, definitely not the right candidate for that.
Yeah, exactly. So that was my job at night. So I would study. I would keep the yard. About 2 a.m, all the drivers would be coming back in. I would lock the gate, collect all the keys, go home. And that was my first job in the drayage industry.
Did you ever get your CDL?
Temporarily.
Temporarily.
Yes,
Okay.
for only one term, pretty much. You get it, you have it for one term, and that was it. And that was just to help out. It wasn't so much to run or make money off of it, but it was just to help out the company and get it. And so I had that, and I would just do things with it, like run the trucks from the yard to this a little bit later down the line after I came in, but that's why I had it, is because after school and after all that was done, I worked for a little bit, and then I got into the business again. So after, maybe about 3 years passed, I got offered to come work for the company.
Oh, okay.
And that's how I got involved in it. So while I was going to school and being a night dispatcher and that was going on, I finished school and then I started working in the IT section where I had a job with the LA Unified School District. I would install computers, networks for many of the schools, like you would find, like Gage Middle School. I did their system. Huntington Park High School. So any Spartans out there that grew up in the 2000s, I'm the one that set up all your computer systems in there.
Thank him in the comments.
Yep. Thank you in the comments for all you Spartans out there that learn how to use a computer and have the little computers in your classrooms. I'm the one that created that network for you. So I did that for a while.
Yeah. Let him know.
Yep. And then after that, that's when I got offered a job to come to the business, Now at this time, she's my wife. Yeah. So now her father-in-law asked me, hey, we want you to join in. We need somebody. We want to grow. We want to change our operations. We want to get out of this mom and pop company and be more of a big enterprise, big boy, come out that way. So they needed all the help they could. So I said, okay. I said, all right. And that's when I joined the company.
Those jobs when you put the systems up and all that, I may have missed that part, but you mentioned schooling, right? So
yeah.
By then you already had your information systems degree?
Correct. Information systems, business management.
Okay.
So my idea was I wanted to be the IT director of a company or a small business and, set up their networks and keep that thing going. So I started off working, changing mouses, connecting internets, and then I got into the LA Unified and started, helping with their companies build up the networks, running cable, installing computers.
Also, make them easily accessible to people that normally don't know how to plug and play these things, right?
Yeah, because you got to remember it was the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So these schools didn't really have computers in their classrooms yet. So these schools were getting $1 million grants. Mm-hmm. They were installing these computers in their schools. They were having all these shipments delivered to their school and didn't really know how to install them or run cable or connect them or build a server. So that's when we came in and helped set that up.
How many buildings did you do?
Oh, everything in the HP, Gage, that area right there. The schools there. Some little Spartans, schools outside, we would help out as well, too.
Did you ever have to go back, once that got outdated, or it was a one-time thing?
I wasn't there that long.
Set them in motion.
Yeah, set them in motion and go. Okay. And then if they had trouble, they would call trouble tickets and make trouble tickets, and we'd go out there and help them. And things and then train teachers how to use computers and set up networks.
So it was a small company at that time?
It was actually working for the Unified
School
District.
Working for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was only there for a couple years.
What other jobs can someone get that has that same degree? Other than that, is that the what other you have?
Yeah, you can start your own business. And you can go in, and if a company needs to set up a network, a server, a little computer desk, workstations in their office, you'd call somebody like that to come in and create all that for you. Put in the software, security measures.
Literally, in their building,
yeah, in their offices. Okay. Things are different now. Now today everything's in the cloud, web-based. So today's environment is completely different now than it was back then. Then you would have your own little computer. Everything will run in and out of that computer, all your workstations and that. Now everything can just be easily accessed on the internet, go into the cloud. So small businesses now just set up online accounts and then boom, they're running their company off of that. So it was kind of a dying trade.
Did you ever, that reminded me of, you remember, did you ever play the Oregon Trail? Did you hear of it? It's a game.
No, I never heard of the Oregon Trail.
No?
No.
All the elementary schools had it. Never mind. You guys look into that. The Oregon Trail, elementary school game. We would always die.
Was it a PC game you played?
Yeah, I wasn't very good at it. Yeah, technology is everywhere. I've seen, remember those, off topic, but it's those little eggs. What was it? A gigapet or something?
Oh,
you had to feed it.
You had to press a button and you fed it, or you had to keep it up and play with it. You had to play with it for a certain amount of time.
Yeah. What the heck?
Yeah.
Man. So, speaking of toys and stuff, what was your childhood like? You got any good memories, or want to tell us about that?
Well, yeah, you got good memories. You got bad memories growing up, But like I said, I'm a California kid, so I'd like to do a lot of stuff on boards.
Boards.
Yeah, so whether it's a surfboard, skateboard, sometimes a snowboard. If I had a ride up to the mountains and we're going to go, things like that I would do. So, growing up in the 90s, there's a lot of skateboarding kids coming up during that time. So, we used to run and skateboard and play, go through the neighborhood. Yeah. Then as I got a little bit older, we were skateboarding through an alley, and there was a guy with his garage door open. He had 2 surfboards there on sale. He's like, they're like $20 a piece or something like that. He's just getting rid of them. So I bought them. And then next thing you know, I'm like, okay, I got these surfboards. What are we going to do with them? Let's just take them to the beach and just, just go play over there. Mm-hmm. So, we'd go to the beach, and I'd take these surfboards out and just, practice and learn and ride the waves and stuff like that. So catching a wave is fun. I got to say, it's like, I don't know. It's just for that split second.
Yeah.
Of the moment that you're on the board, and that split second you drop in and you stand up and you get that ride, whether it's 1 second or 10 seconds, you get this feeling of just nothing else matters. You feel the water, you feel free, you feel clean, you feel just pure. And then boom, you crash and you tumble and you drink salt water, and then reality comes back.
Wow.
But it's really nice to have that moment where just nothing else matters and you feel good and you just feel free. Mm-hmm. And then, you want to ride another one and another one and another one and bigger, and you just keep going.
What's the longest you've ridden a wave?
Sometimes if I ride a wave, instead of jumping off and going back out and ride another one, it's like, okay, this is my last wave of the day. I'm going to go home. So I'll ride that wave all the way from the point I catch it, all the way to the shore, all the way to the beach. So
at what point do you learn how to catch it and all that stuff? You just
practice. Ask the old guys out there how to catch a wave. Very friendly people out there in the water. They'll give you tips, advice, how to catch one, how to ride one, and then you just keep practice and practice and practice.
I seen one where it was a huge wave, like it looked like a tunnel, bro, and the guy was inside the tunnel and it just rolling. I'm trying to paint that picture.
Yeah, it's like, very nice.
If that thing just falls on you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you get out of that one? Just eventually.
Those waves are fun. I love those waves.
Yeah.
I caught one in Huntington Beach one morning, early morning. I caught one. Boom, boom, out there paddling. Here it comes. I catch it perfectly. It's starting to break right over me, and I'm going in the right direction where it's starting to follow me, rolling, just rolling it right over me. And I'm in it, and I squat down really low because it wasn't that big.
Okay.
I wasn't able to stand up, and it's 8 feet tall and crashing over me. This one was probably 3 feet. So I had to squat down real low on my board to get that little wave over my head. Uh-huh. And I can look at the top of my eye and corner. I can see that wave crashing over. And I'm like, oh, this is nice. This is cool. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, woo. All of a sudden, I look down in front of me, and all I see is a guy waving his hands at me.
Oh, shit.
Screaming at me, waving his hands. I didn't see him till the last minute, and boom, 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 boom.
Oh.
I rolled right over him.
Wow.
He was pissed. He tried to throw a punch at me. We were fighting in the water. But you can't fight in the water because you're either holding your board and one hand's free. Okay. So, he cussed me out. I apologized. And we went our separate ways.
Wow. Interesting story.
So you got to keep your eyes open when you're out there.
You were too excited.
I was too excited. I didn't pay attention, and I ran right over him.
What about when you were skating? Did she say, "See you later, boy," because you weren't good enough for her? Damn it.
That's what it was.
I was trying to, you never brought it up again. I wanted to throw that in there, but now it doesn't make any sense.
Well, the girls,
I don't know if people are 21 like me and remember that song. You remember the song?
What song?
The Avril Lavigne song, the Skater Boy song.
Oh, no. Look at it. I need to live in your world a little bit, catch up on the songs and the.
But we're both 21. You should know this.
Yeah, I'm 21. I turned 21 yesterday.
Yeah.
Skateboarding was fun too. I grew up in LA, so there's certain cities that you can find that have some good hills. Whittier's got some good hills. Lucerna's got some good hills. You can go anywhere and find some good little hills and stuff like that. I wasn't more of a trick skater. I didn't do the kick flips,
Cruiser,
the backslides. I was a cruiser. I like to go down big hills, things like that. So going down big hills is fun on the skateboard. That was my thing. I tried to do it a few years ago. I'm like, I still got it. Because my daughter bought a skateboard and she's riding, and she kind of re-sparked that flame again for me.
Ah, okay.
So I'm like, oh, do I still have it? Do I still have those downloading skills and everything? And
yeah,
I do, but there's consequences.
But now we don't recover as quickly.
No, we don't recover as quickly. We don't. I've learned that the hard way. Yeah, I fell.
You had a couple injuries, haven't you?
Oh, I have tons of injuries.
Yeah.
So yeah, I last time I was on the skateboard, I tried to go down a big hill, and the big hill had a nice little curve to it, and I'm trying to power slide, backslide on that hill, and I just shot too far out. The board slipped out from under me, and I just did a slide on my back.
Oh, no.
So if you ever had road rash, anybody had road rash out there, you know what it's like? Half of my back had road rash.
Wow.
So that's, I went home and pick out all the dirt and clean it out, and my wife was there, and she's like, if you're going to shower, I'm out of here, because you're going to be screaming and cussing, and I don't want to be around you. So
Did you?
Yeah. When you take a shower from road rash, that water stings. So, growing up in California, I enjoy it. I lived in other states, but I just haven't found another state that's just as nice as California. Great weather, 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, and you can be anywhere on a day with no traffic. Basically
an outdoor kid. You were very active.
Yeah. Well, I grew up, there wasn't internet when I was growing up.
That's true.
There was no, and then by the time I was like in my 20s, it was like dial-up internet. So it's still slow. It still wasn't worth it and fun.
Back then, the parents would be like pulling the kids inside, and now the parents are pulling them outside.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's like, get out, bring them in.
Yeah. Were you, you had any other siblings? You're the only child? Or?
No, I have 3 brothers.
Yeah.
I have 3 younger brothers. Okay. Yep. So they're in construction now. That's what they do. So they, build porches and foundations and houses and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get them to my house and do some free work, but doesn't work.
No.
They say if I come see you, I'm on vacation. I'm not there to work.
Carnal, check this out.
Yeah. Help me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fun growing up in California. Even as an older person, I still enjoy doing activities out in California. Just not as intense. But I still get on the surfboard. Yeah. I still ride surfboard. That one's good because if you fall there, you fall on the water. So you're good.
I got to get out there. I'm pretty boring, I would say, as far as being active goes, but.
Just have fun. It's all about having fun, whether it's being active or not. Just have fun with yourself.
I'm active on the podcast. I'm really enjoying this, so we'll see where this goes.
This is good. This is a really nice setup. I like it.
Thank you, sir. And did you like the Army?
I did. I learned a lot.
How young were you when you went in?
Oh, 18.
Oh, yeah, right?
Yeah, just a kid.
What do they call it? MO, or what do they call it? The assignment?
Oh, my job?
Yeah.
I was an infantry soldier, so...
That's what you wanted from the start, or the recruiter bullshitted you like he bullshitted me?
No, the recruiter didn't bullshit me. No. He's pretty honest. He's like, what do you want to do? You want to be inside? You want to be outside? What type of job do you want? And I was like, I want to be outside. I'm an outside guy. All the stuff I did growing up as a kid, I'm an outside guy. I want to work outside. Then they show you that highlight video. Oh, then that highlight video just sucks you right in.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to do that. And then I did it.
Where'd you take you did the ASVAB and all that?
Yeah, downtown LA, you take the test.
Oh, yeah.
You sit in the hotel. They ship you out. You're gone.
Crazy.
That's it. Yeah.
I had to go all the way to San Jose
Oh, you did?
for the ASVAB in that area.
It was local here for me. I could have scored higher, but I had to go to the bathroom really bad. I was like, ooh, A, B, 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 A, B, B, click, click, click. I'm out.
Yeah. What did you? So you got what you wanted,
Yeah, it was fun. Jumping out of helicopters.
That's what I wanted.
That was pretty fun. Walking 30 miles straight. Seems like, at the moment you're like, but you're a kid, you're young, it's adventurous, you're fun. You don't have a care in the world. You just like, whatever happens, happens, and you just go with it.
What made you want to get in? The recruiter, you know what I mean?
And now we're going to go into the dark side of Daniel. Let's get into the dark side of Daniel.
Dark side.
The dark side,
Let's hear it.
I was, broken home. Family broke up.
Okay.
So parents went in their own direction. I was a young 15, 16-year-old teenager at that time. So I kind of just, bounced around myself too. Made sure I finished school. I had a job, just kind of living that. And then I saw an opportunity to go a different direction. I didn't want to live with anybody. I didn't want to stay in a garage somewhere or anything like that. So I had an opportunity to go out and do something and go in a different direction and get out of town. So I took advantage of that. And that's why I signed up. So I did that. And then went overseas for a little bit, did a couple tours, a couple deployments, and then came back to California, went to school, Cal State Long Beach, and then that's when I started getting involved with, working for the school district, and then, got a job working at trucking, and then started helping out there. And then going to that was fine. It was easy because I was already used to getting up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So the owner was like, cool, you're going to work here? Great. I need you at 5 a.m. every day. Cool, no problem. I was there at 5 a.m. I'd open up the gate, open it up. Drivers would come in. Sometimes I would, just keep active. I would go in there and I would kind of start all the trucks and I would do all the pre-checks for them and make sure everything was good. And I'd check the belts of all, because he had 7 trucks at the time. So I'd start them all up, check the fuel, check the belts, make sure everything was good, kick the tires, make sure no check engine lights were on. And then the drivers come in and I just hand them their keys.
I'm gonna know.
Yep. So that's why drivers out there that are spoiled, this is how I spoiled them. I did a lot of that for them, Hand them their work. Here you go. This is what was assigned to you that day. Let's go.
You ever get any drivers trying to hook you up with some cash for a better load or something like that?
You know what? No, because they were all company drivers. And then a handful of owner-operators. Well, this is, early 2000s, so owner-operators are just like, they'd hang out in front of the yard, wait for work. They were always coming and going. There was a lot of them flowing around that time.
Yeah.
So the first truck that I actually learned, how to drive and actually get behind the wheel and start moving around was a 93 cab over Freightliner. I think it was a Freightliner. The one where flat nose, flat in the front.
Yes.
Seen those?
Yeah. Square lights.
Square lights.
You're right above the wheels.
Yep.
You feel every little bump. The shifter's right here, right by the steering wheel, right?
Exactly. And this one didn't have power steering.
Oh, man.
So as I'm pulling this thing, and then you have to check the oil. You have to crank it up.
Yeah.
Crank the cab all the way up. Crank it. Check the oil and then release it.
That's a lot of trust on that.
Yeah, got a little hydraulic pump.
Does it have anything to, like a stand once it's up, like protection?
No, it had a little hydraulic pump, so it would just kind of like you pump it up and it would just kind of lock there.
But that's it
until you release the pressure and then it would come down.
But those give out, so if that gave out, that's it.
Yeah, I've never seen one give out, but
no. Shit.
There you go. So that was that. So that's how I, really got started learning, and then I would move those trucks yard to yard, make space, or having to move some containers in the yard around. I'd have to use that truck to reposition containers so we can fit more in there.
And the ones that are going out first.
Anyone was going out there because you figure this was before second shift. So
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
it'll be, hey, we're coming to the yard at 7 a.m. to either pick up an empty to go to the port or pick up an empty for delivery. And since I was been there a couple hours already, I would prep them. But I like coming there at 5. I mean, the owner was a truck driver his whole life, and he came to this country in the mid 80s, started working. And then in the early 90s, he started his own trucking company, bought trucks, worked it, built his business up. And then, during that time, that's when I met him and met his daughter and everything. And they brought me in. And he just hanging out with him every day, learning how to deal with drivers, learning how to deal with the trucks, learning how to deal with the port, just working with him directly.
So his daughter, that's your wife now?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that became like a family business, sort of?
Yeah, it was a family business. He was the owner. He would run freight every once in a while. He's older, so he's the business guy, so the owner. So he would run containers every now and then, or take me with him and kind of just show me the run. Back then, you can take 2 people into the port too if you needed to. So you can have a passenger in there and they'll let you come in, no problem. So
I think there was a few accidents, then they stopped letting them in, but I don't know. I'm assuming because it's a safety thing now more than anything, right? There was one, the father and son went into, I think, Maersk, and while the dad was doing the pre-trip, the son did some shit that made the truck back up and crushed him.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not sure if that's the story that led to it, but you would think safety is like one of the main reasons, hard to be on the same page.
Yeah, I know there are assholes in there about stay in your truck and all this stuff, but I mean, one little accident can cost somebody's life. So I get it, whether you're a longshoreman or a truck driver, I mean, even at Everport, you hear of trucks, or containers going a little too far and backing up too far, and the back wheels can slide off or stuff like that. So
yeah,
you never know. You just don't know.
Better safe than sorry, that's for sure.
Yeah. So he showed me everything. And then as years passed, I started to get the hang of it. So now I'm there. He wouldn't even come in at 5 o'clock anymore. He started coming around 7 now. So I was like, okay, he trusts me to get the company going in the morning, get everything out. So by that time, second shift came. I have a night dispatcher now. We're up to 20-something trucks now.
Wow.
All max, At first it was Freightliner.
What year did you have those Macs?
08.
Those Macs that came into the picture with the clean truck program.
Yeah.
The day cabs.
Not the day cabs.
Oh, okay.
They were just small 10-speed trucks.
Yeah.
The filter was had to be done manually. You had to pull over, push it, let it clean, wait there 45 minutes.
Sometimes over an hour and realize that it didn't even work.
Yeah. Or they would say it was automatic. You didn't have to push the button. You just have to go at a certain speed for an hour. But seriously, from port to, let's say, Ontario.
That's more than enough.
In the afternoon.
But if there's traffic.
That's what I'm saying. In the afternoon, I'm not even going above 40 at all. Yeah. The whole way, it's below 40.
Yeah.
So there's no way it's going to clean itself. And then I have to pull over on the side of the road and clean it. Or some of my drivers wouldn't even clean it. They just come back and never clean it, turn it off, and then next thing you know, that turbo would go, and there you go. Place the turbo. So those trucks were good because they were easy to drive. They were nice. They were somewhat newer. But if you didn't clean that engine, that filter, then you pretty much gave your truck a heart attack and blew up that turbo.
Yeah.
Or burn out the filter, and then now you're spending thousands of dollars just trying to fix that thing. So.
Yeah, it's a nasty analogy, but those clean trucks, it's sort of like the way they work. Simplified is like if you fart and you just smell that back in because you don't want, you keep it all to yourself. Or you shit, you eat that again, like because you don't want to contaminate. Well, meanwhile, what's happening to the product,
Yeah, the product just getting beat up.
Yeah, like all the oils were watered down now. It's like everything was, man, a lot of people had a shitload of headaches with those trucks. A lot of mechanics came up.
A lot of
'Cause
mechanics
the people
came
didn't
up.
know they were charging like $400 to replace a sensor that was like, way less than that.
Yeah.
Or to swap a little gasket that's like $10-20 and charging like fucking $200-300.
Those ERG sensors, whatever they were called, I can't remember the name of those
EGRs?
sensors. EGR sensors.
EGR coolers.
Just changing those sensors out like all the time. Changing them out, changing them out, changing them out, changing them out.
Yeah, because you had perfectly running trucks, and now you add all these components, more money, more parts to buy.
It was a pain in the ass. I mean, I also did mechanic too, because I got to the point where, very self-sufficient. I was able to do a lot of things on my own. So, you know what? If it needed to be changed out, I'll change it. Fan clutch, I'll change it. Belt, I'll replace it. Water cooler, water pump, I'll change it.
Better to do it at the yard than on the road and then have to get a tow truck or
waiting for a mechanic to show up. I'll be there. I can't forget.
Even a flat, dude. Like you hear these guys get a flat far away from any other services, and they know they need it. A tire can be like $400.
Oh, I had a driver coming back from Vegas and had a blowout. No, it was going to Vegas and had a blowout on the container in the middle of the 15. There's nobody around there.
Nope.
If I get somebody out there, it's going to be a couple $100 just to get the tire guy out there, plus another $400-500 for that brand new 10-200 or 10, what is it, 120? I can't remember the name of it right now.
I don't know either, but
the container tire.
They just say this is all we have. We only have new.
We only have a new one. That's it.
Take it or leave it.
And in my yard, I know everybody else does this. I don't know if it's just me or I'm telling my story or whatnot, but I would take container tires off, empties, and turn one in with, 3 tires on the back instead of 4. And I'd take it out and put the ram and make it look like there's 4. And I'd keep a stockpile of good tires in my yard just for emergency purposes, So I would do that. I don't know that that's bad, but whatever. I think we all do it.
Just add allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly or supposedly or whatever.
Yeah.
So we do that now to keep them there, just for emergency purposes. So I had bought a little tiny Ford pickup truck that I used to use to run parts and stuff like that, So the guy calls me and says he had a blowout tire on the container, needs to make his delivery tomorrow or that night for the next day. And I'm not going to call a tire guy because there's nobody available, or they're going to cost me like $1,000 to do it. I said, I'll go. It's like, it's Vegas. I'll go. I can stop at State Line, have some fun for that night, and come back. So I'm driving up there in that little pickup truck with my tire and my tools in the back, driving all the way up there. And it was summertime, so it was probably like 115 degrees on the way up there, just burning up.
It overheated on the way.
It didn't overheat on the way up there, but I was just hot in this truck. And I made it there, and that's how I learned to change a chassis tire. They were like, hold on. Don't make sure you pop that little thing first,
Yeah, they're dangerous. Give me a second.
Yeah. So they're pretty dangerous. If you don't do it right, if you don't know what you're doing, you can just blow a hole in. Yeah, there they are. There's one right there. There you go. Yep.
Just put it down gently on my patio table.
Nice and tight. Pop it out. Pop it. There you go. Change them out.
Yeah, the guy on Anthony Cordero on episode 5, he had mentioned the importance of loosening these.
Yeah.
And the way you put him back on, I don't remember exactly the details, but all I know is that it looks simple, but these can fuck you up.
There's a lot of pressure built into that.
Yeah. I forgot. You guys got to check out episode 5 to know what I'm talking about, because otherwise I'm just going to fuck up the story. But
yeah. Well, point is, working with him, working at that company, I learned everything. I would just open the gate in the morning, dispatch, fix a truck if it needed, sales call, visit a customer, move a container, pull a container, sleep in the cab, wake up in the morning, do it again.
freaking Octo Man.
It was crazy.
Jack of all trades.
I'm on the phone talking to a customer with grease all over my hands, running in, always having to have the dispatch paper with me. So I knew everything was going on. If some driver called me and, Didn't have texting back then either. So it was all the two-way radio, the Nextels.
Yeah.
The Nextels. Woo, Nextels.
You got to put those on mute sometimes, depending on what kind of friends you have.
2 a.m, my Nextel will go off. Wrong PIN number. So. Yeah. Then we had a little yard truck. And then when we got the yard truck, oh my God, things changed. Because now we can stack more containers in the yard and pull more containers out easily now. Before, the drivers would come in, park it in the back. They take forever to park. I have 4 guys trying to get in the yard. This guy can't park, or he parks wrong and then just rips a hole in the side of the container.
Or starts a whole fucked up sequence that...
Yeah. So, when you put a hole in the container, what do? You put that metal tape and you spray paint it brown or green or whatever the container number is.
Yeah.
Whatever color the container is. And then you just tell the Steamship Line, wasn't me?
Grab a big ball of grease, slap it in there and throw some dirt.
There you go.
The ghetto bondo.
Ghetto bondo, ghetto transloading. That's what I used to do, some ghetto transloading.
Which was?
Just 2 containers back to back with a pallet jack in the middle.
Oh, okay.
And then just move them that way.
Was that an everyday thing? That's part of the service? You would transload?
That wasn't part of the service, but if it called for it, I would do it. That was an extra $400 in my pocket. So I was like, if I'm going to do it, I'm charging this much and I want the money for me. Mm-hmm. So that was the deal. And I would just transload it, $400. I'd put them back to back. I'd have a driver back it up while I'm in there so I can stay in there and just transload.
OSHA, is this safe?
A lot of things weren't safe.
What makes a customer want to transload? Some scenarios. Can you run some scenarios?
Well, one scenario was I wanted to transload it because I knew that container had to go back. And I'm done paying per diem for it. And I wanted to just kill it, get it done. And I'd put it into something else where I knew that wasn't going to get any per diem.
A little fresher.
And just keep it there. And then, or somebody pulled it out with just fucked up tires and fucked up airlines and just a fucked up chassis,
Oh, that sounds like a confusing scenario because then he delivers that load. He's still going to write it down on his manifest as the one that you emptied out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could be a headache.
Well, I mean, it's like, am I going to take this container back to the terminal and flip it onto another chassis so I can go to, Tracy or Vegas or Arizona, wherever this thing was going? Or, just transload it onto a brand new chassis and then take it and run it there, no problem.
Another container.
Another container with a really good chassis on it and then be able to run it, no problem. So I'd have to transload it and I would just tell them, hey, it was on wheels. I couldn't flip it, or if it was coming from Shippers Transport, because you all know Shippers picks up crappy containers. Picks up containers on crappy chassis.
Yeah, they just grab and go.
And then you go over there like, wait, this thing's going to Arizona? I can't take it on this chassis. There's no way. Well, pay for a flip. Mm-hmm. It's a little different back then because it was, if you're pulling an Evergreen container, you pull it out on an Evergreen chassis, and when that container's done, you take it back to Evergreen. And you drop the chassis there too. Like it was just clean like that.
I got a little taste of that. Like you didn't have to worry about where the empty goes. If you knew where you picked it up, it goes back there automatically.
Yeah.
But then there was all this. OCL was going to all these different steamship lines were just all over the place now. It's like
vessel sharing.
Evergreen containers, you knew they went back to Evergreen, and now it's like everywhere, like mostly everywhere. Like
I was able to pull chassis out that belong to the Steamship Line. I can pull them out and use them for whatever. Then as long as you were using it on there, as long as you turned it in to their spot when they were done, you're good.
Yeah.
So it was good.
Yeah.
And then those chassis companies, they started coming out and leasing them and doing all that stuff and charging you for using them. They were barely started at that time, so their bills were just all screwed up.
There was a time you didn't have to pay for the chassis?
There was a time you didn't have to pay for chassis.
If it was in the terminal? In
the terminal, and you're getting it from them and no pay at all. I don't know what the plan was or the deal was between them and the customer, but as a trucker, there was no chassis, per day fee. But when that started coming out, it was a new system for them, so they were screwing up all over the place. I would have chassis bills 99 days out.
That was not true?
Not true at all.
What is that bill like?
it'd be 99.
What did it look like?
Like $15 a day, 99 days. It's out. You didn't turn it in 2 months ago. I'm like, whoa! I turned it in to the terminal you told me to turn it to. Well, we don't have record of it. Great. Now I got to dig up with that terminal and find it, or
it's one of those things that it's one of those things where just invoice you and you figure it out.
Yeah,
how you prove it. Otherwise, you pay.
Yeah, otherwise you pay.
Oh, that's not some very fun homework to have.
Nope. So you're like on the desk with a stack of interchanges, about 2 feet high, looking for a chassis number.
And looking for a return date to
We're
pair
just
it with.
Yeah, looking, going through. Everybody grab a stack, dig through these interchanges. I need to find this container number.
Match all of them with the out gate and the in gate, and then we'll do the timing.
Find it.
Oh, what a headache.
They're like, I found it.
And this whole time, the operation is still going, so
yeah,
it's just inconvenient.
Paperwork. Oh, my God. There was one time. Well, so started with that company. It was good. We were doing well. A few years later, we started another company. Started a whole new company, right? From scratch. Bought some trucks. Got some grants.
Why'd you do that?
Just growing. Just growing. Just growing. There's a lot of reasons why we change company names. You guys know why we change company names. But there's a lot of reasons why we change company names and go and start new businesses and things like that. So we'll get into those details on another episode. But,
Tell me more, bro. Come on.
So anyways, we started a whole new company. We're all partners in this deal here. And when you first start a company, you just give, your first email address. And then I use that for UIA. And then as years pass, things are changing. We're growing. Now we got, our name at companyname.com. We got this whole domain going now, so we're legit. But I forgot to update the UIA on my new email address. They had an old email address that I wasn't using anymore. So one day, all of a sudden, my driver calls me and says, you can't come in here anymore. Hey, bro, they're kicking me out. They said, we're no good. Scat code's no good. What the fuck? What's up, Zim? What's the matter? You owe us $30,000 in per diem, and you cannot come back in here until you pay this bill. And I'm like, holy shit. So back then, it was 6 months worth of backed up per diem that I never knew about. They were emailing this bill to an email address that I wasn't even monitoring anymore.
Oh, that's very important then. So that's one good tip.
Yeah. So keep your records and contact information updated. So
under what type of email should that fall? Like an operations email? Like, how you could assign various different emails?
Yeah, I would say an email that you're monitoring support, pretty much.
Sales, support, operations. This would be an operations one, right?
Yeah, an email that you're keeping up with, that you're checking, that not too much flows through.
So don't use the one you use for the broadcast emails, because in a week you get like hundreds.
Yeah, you get hundreds, and
not a good
something
one.
can get lost in there and not know it. So,
all right.
Yeah, so it ended up being a whole month of one person, my wife, in fact, because it was her customer that we're really moving at for. Going through, checking dates, checking paperwork, when it was dropped, whose fault was it, when it was empty. She went that through a whole month. Went to the customer like 8 months later and said, you owe us $20,000 in per diem.
Wait, how much months later? How many?
Because we did 6 months of built up bills, and it took her about a little over a month to sort everything out. Get all the paperwork and try to find out who's liable for what. Because I didn't want to pay $30,000. There's no way we're going to pay $30,000. There's no way we could afford it. So that happened. She sorted it out, went to the customer and said, you owe us $20,000 in per diem. We'll pay 10 because those are our fault.
Yeah.
At that time, customer was like, fuck, I can't find another trucker at this time. It's too busy. They bitched us out, paid it, and then, we were good from there.
Could they have said, fuck off? Is there like a statute of limitations?
No, they could have been like, thank you, and we're not going to send you any more loads. We'll find somebody else. But they were cool. They understood. I mean, the proof kind of showed them it was their fault, but it just such a pain in the ass to go through that process.
So
Imagine working with your wife and you presenting her a problem like that, and then she has to do all this extra work to solve it, and then you go home with her.
And that's when you got divorced, or what?
No. Then you go home with her, and you're like, no, baby, let's leave all the drama before Delamo. As soon as you pass Delamo on the 710, leave all the work drama there.
Yeah.
But of course, it never was left. It would always continue. So, yeah, we worked together. Yeah, she was running some of the big customers, and I was just doing, like I said before, every hat that I had to put on that day, that's what I did.
How is it working with family? Is it ever like, cause you came into the scene, right? Was there ever a time when it's like chill? Cause you're a go-getter, right? So did you ever feel like you, like a personal question, I guess. Sometimes coming in, people feel like you're stepping on their toes and taking over. You know what I mean? Like, you never got that vibe?
Back to the dark side.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I used to fight all the time with my in-laws.
So working with family has ups and downs, huh?
Yeah, ups and downs because, as a go-getter and businessman, and now we're in this partnership. Well, he had his business. Now I'm in a partnership with some other people. So,
okay.
But on the family side of it, yeah, I had ideas. I had things I wanted to do, So his daughter was running that company. It was him, his daughter. My wife was in there, and that was it before we broke off.
Yeah.
Starting the company. So, yeah, I did have ideas. He was good, though. He was really good. He was a really good guy. He's like, I'm old. I can't be starting a new business right now, but we need to do this, and you need to do it. And if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be you. And he's like, let's do warehousing. Let's do bobtail trucks. Let's do recycling. He wanted to do recycling and just bring in and just load them up and get them out and sell that stuff. But he had a lot of great ideas. He was good. He was a good business guy. Taught me a lot about the industry from scratch, so that was fun.
So you've done dispatching, yard goat guy, ghetto transloader,
Salesman,
tire man,
sales guy,
roto, sales guy,
port meetings. Yeah, we go to like 8 p.m. Evergreen would have these trucker meetings. They would invite everybody to the terminal.
They send you guys emails, all the companies? Or certain
companies.
Big companies?
Yeah.
At the time?
Certain companies will come in. We weren't a big company, but certain companies would come in, and we'd all sit in the conference room at the terminal and talk, and they'd give us updates and to let us know what's going on. Contract signing with customers and steamship lines. I would get invited in there, say, hey, this is our carrier. And before we agree or sign a contract with the steamship line, let's get all the details of getting it worked out, like how much you're going to charge us per diem, or how much you're going to charge us for demurrage, or how can we get containers out fast, or if you have a problem, like trucker, like what do you need to ensure that we can get everything flowing?
So steamship lines also have their customers that are the carriers, right?
The like BCOs and the shippers and product owners and things like that, yeah.
Okay.
So they would make contract negotiation with the steamship line, and the steamship line would say, this is the terminal we're going to use. So it'll be the steamship line reps will be in there, and then the customer will be in there, and then I'm on the customer side as their preferred carrier, and the terminal is on the steamship line side saying, okay, all the work is going to flow through our terminal. So then we all work together to ensure that this customer doesn't have any hiccups, any containers left behind, because it's more of a distribution center. They come in, they go straight to that distribution center, broken down, and it's out within the next 2 days. It's not a warehouse, just a store, merchandise. It was coming in. We knew it was coming in. They knew when it was coming in. They knew when we were going to pick it up. They already scheduled the pickups for other truckers to come in and pick it up from the distribution center and in and out. It was in there, broken down, and out. So there was no just storing it at a warehouse.
Yeah, when you say distribution center, you're comparing the terminal to that, right?
No, distribution center is the customers.
The actual distribution center.
The actual distribution center. So they would say, I would tell them, hey, these are the containers we're bringing in for the week. Like we're pulling these out on Monday. We're pulling these out on Tuesday.
Be ready.
We're pulling these out on Wednesday. So they would say, okay, these are the merchandise that's coming in on Wednesday. They will call another carrier to pick it up and take it, cross country to go somewhere else. Yeah. So if we didn't get it out of the terminal in time, and I'm saying, hey, I didn't get these 4 out. They're like, well, I got two truckers waiting for these things.
Layovers. Who pays for that layover?
The customer, pretty sure, because that's their deal on the side.
Okay.
And then they're yelling at me, and I'm like, well, they were a closed area, or they had no chassis available.
You come and check it out then.
Yeah. So I'm like, no chassis, closed area. Like, they didn't service my guy in that area. Like, what do you want me to do? I went in there, and here's my proof. What's your proof? Pictures or copy scanned, scan interchanges, or whatever proof we can come up with. There was no phone GPS then. So it's like, hey, there's my guy on the phone. Like, look, they didn't have that back then. So it was pretty much, a lot of it was our word versus their word. So we'd be in these terminal meetings, and these truckers would just bring out these stacks of interchanges. Look at all this waiting time. And that was the only proof we had.
The interchange covers your ass a lot. There's many ways to, well, at least there was. I don't know now. There's a time there's a last 3 day load. But there's other stuff, there's other terminals that are less congested, so that driver could be more productive. So what he would do is go into Houston, ask for that load, get the ticket, and bobtail right out. You know what I mean? Yep. Hold that ticket. So then he would be productive, move a couple loads, but he covered his ass and for the company, and they would just show that ticket that he was in there, but it never got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know how it is now. So those tickets... They were good way to cover your ass.
That was our proof.
Yeah.
That was our proof. Nobody looked at them. They were just like, okay, let's go. And
now it changed how screenshots and all this.
Now it's like, now it's like, here's everything. Here's, screenshots, my phone. What's cool now is that the phones have the GPS on it.
Okay.
That's cool now. So now you don't need any other software, anything like that, to kind of track it, or your phone just tells you everything where you're at. Your phone tells you when your food's coming, tells you how far away are you from whatever address you put in there. Mm-hmm. It tells you all that stuff on the GPS. So that's good. So now, truckers can use that now as proof.
Some still don't want to get too involved with technology, I guess. Like old school drivers, they're really like, mándamela, textéame, text it to me.
Which I don't get. They're taking pictures anyways, or they're texting anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
But,
the radio, the Nextel radio.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is MSU. And then next thing you know, they're like, you look at the interchange and you got a trouble ticket.
Uh-huh.
SAU. No. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Oh, now you got a trouble ticket. Forget it. Now you're in there for lunch. You're stuck. Oh, forget it. Now he's like, now you're fucked. Just because he misunderstood one simple letter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when has it ever been like that? You've never seen a container like that.
EMSU?
MSCU or MSSU. You never...
Yeah.
So anyways.
Now there's a lot more.
There's a lot more Steamship Lines involved now. But just that simple miscommunication, he could have been, if he would have got it right in the beginning or understood it correctly or whatever, he would have been out before lunch.
Yeah.
Boom, he would have been on the road during lunch. But then since he misunderstood or pronounced it wrong or whatever, then now he's stuck. Trouble window.
Yeah. And the clerks are trying to get them rolling. So you waste their time. You don't know what you're asking for. On to the next,
Trouble window next.
You better have your trucking company and your SCAT code ready as a backup, because sometimes they don't understand what you're saying. You know, there's a lot of words that sound the same.
Proceed the trouble window, please.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Well, the worst when you don't hear a reply is you don't hear a reply and you're wondering if everything went well, and then you just hear the printer. Trouble ticket.
No. That's the worst. No.
Yeah.
No.
Especially if you know it could have been avoided.
Yeah.
It happens like that. So
now it's like, okay, texting's great. That's why I love the texting now. You can just type it. Same thing, though. You can still have an error on the typing. Because I'm a trucker, too. So, I don't have little petite hands. I have fat fingers. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? I got fat fingers when I'm texting. So it's always a mistext every time I text.
Oh, no. Those are the worst.
So you imagine somebody texting and then you got fat fingers and boom, send and...
Do it with your pinky.
Pinky text? You know, so that's another thing that can happen when you're trying to use texting.
Yeah.
You know, so. But yeah, that's why I got my feet wet. Then I would say about 8 years ago, I had an opportunity to say, oh, you know what? I got some tech experience. I haven't explored that in a while. I sure as hell got the fucking trucking experience. You know, I've earned that shit. And I had an opportunity to put them together and, you know, get the new position I have now. And it's like, I like it. I like it. I like going into a company, helping them out. Like, you know what? Let's make this operational better. Bro, I know what it's like to work fucking 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
Let's not do that anymore. I'm pretty sure you got kids you want to see.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't see my kids. Growing up in trucking, while working in it, I'd leave at 5 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, get to the office. Because, you know, you have the guys that just leave early, deliver a load, try to be back by 8 so you can turn it empty and get another one.
Yes.
You know, you have that workflow going. Keep those wheels going. So I'd leave at 5, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I would leave.
Kids are asleep.
Kids are asleep already. And then, you know, second shift developed and opened up. And then you had that, like the day didn't end at 3 o'clock anymore. It's like 3 o'clock. All right, just come on in, park it or make it if you can, lock up, and we're done. Now it's 3 o'clock. That's like your morning time again. Whole new start, new dispatch, new set of drivers coming in, new appointment. So that prolonged my day, and I would not get out of there till 7, 8 o'clock at night. You know, and I'd have a night dispatcher, and he would take over, and just that whole transition of this is everything that happened. This is all the containers that are coming out. This is where so-and-so is. This is where so-and-so's at. This is what he's doing. This is what he's kind of explaining to the night dispatcher what's going on.
And he had to do the same for you for the next day when you came in.
Yeah. Sometimes he would leave early, and I know he's fucking tired, and I know he left at 4 in the morning, and I'm coming in at 6 or 5, and he's already been home for a couple hours, and I'm just blowing up his fucking phone.
What is this?
Blowing up his phone at 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, and he'd wake up, have a sleep. What happened?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm already heated. I'm already heated because I'm just waiting. The driver's waiting. I'm already upset, and I'm screaming at him. How can you didn't fucking write it down? You know, he was a good friend of mine.
Yeah,
he's an old Army buddy. I brought him in as a night dispatcher. So,
and that's how you became enemies.
Yep, that's how we became enemies. You know, he doesn't call me anymore.
Oh.
You know, but
so you've had all these experiences in trucking.
Yeah, so it was good.
All over the
just fighting. So you know, so I know what it's like.
Yeah,
8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, night, or being the business owner. You know, your night dispatcher needs help parking containers and dispatching, and so you're like, fuck, I can't go home right now.
Yeah.
Like, I can't go home. I can't leave all this on him. I'm gonna shit done. I'm like, all right, bro, what do you need me to do? You're in charge. You're the night guy. What do you need me to do? Hey, can you park these containers for me? Fuck. And our little mulita wasn't anything pretty. Yeah. I didn't have one of those nice ones. Yeah. Like they have over there at the terminal or some of these big companies. No, I bought mine for $1,000. It had like a 1972 Ford engine in it. Sometimes you had to, like, the more we used it, you had to wear a mask so you didn't breathe all the exhaust, pass out. Okay. Oh, wow. It would catch on fire every now and then. Yeah. You know, the little, when you hook up and you push it to raise up the fifth wheel, the seals would be broken on that. It'd be squirting grease and oil all over the place. Yeah. I should have not been so, but those things are expensive. They're not cheap.
How much are they now that you know?
I don't have no idea how much they are. I mean, now they're very more, you know, they're common. There's older ones out there that are still good, you know, and everybody's upgrading their old ones. So you can probably find a good one at a good price right now. But back then it was rare that there were, you know, that used that much.
Who knows about right now? Because you got Volvos that are normally like 150,000. Now they're up to 250,000. I've seen like everything went up right now.
Yeah, it's crazy out there right now.
It might work in their favor because the truckers think that because the 09s and 09 through 11, I believe, are going out at the end of this year. But the way the market is, they might be able to get a good deal on them when they sell them.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was going to be like, oh, we're going to have to let these go cheap because everybody knows they're no good.
Yeah.
At least for the state, right? Most of them are in good condition. But, yeah.
So, Rolando, if you're out there, compliments on you driving that truck.
What truck?
That little Malita he was driving. He put in a lot of work on it. So, yeah, that's how it was back then.
So what?
So now things are a little different.
What would you do differently with your company if you went back?
Oh, wow. First of all, I'd get something to keep me organized. You know, because, I mean, my company was good. I had some, a couple systems in place. I knew how to do things. But my biggest issue was I knew what was coming in. I just didn't know where everything was at after it went out.
Yeah.
Then I would get a call like, are you going to pick up this container? What container? Oh, it's been in our yard since forever. And is it yours? I'm like, oh, yeah, it is mine.
I'm on my way.
Let me just go dump it in the ocean really quick.
Yeah.
Let me go melt this container down so nobody could ever find it. I'd rather pay the insurance than pay a $20,000 per day bill.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Oh, yeah, it's kind of like just be organized. So you know where everything's at. And stuff like that. And be able to put some good processes and good procedures in place. So that way, it's not just a gunslinging show where like, hey, I need you to do this. Okay, great. Just figure it out. And then they try to figure it out, and it could be a wrong way. It could be an efficient way. Something, So you want to be able to just keep good processes and procedures in place. A good way of tracking everything so you know where everything's at and kind of just monitoring that way, and trying to create some type of balance for your office, so that way you're not...
Cover your ass,
things like that,
Something easier than going through 2 feet of manifest.
Yeah, 2 feet of interchanges digging for stuff, because somebody told you and brought it to your attention. That's the one thing I didn't like. I didn't like people telling me, hey, you got this out there. Hey, you got this. Like, no, I like to be the one saying, yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I like to be on top of things.
Yeah. But it would bug you because they were right, and you wish you could have prevented it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
So, as far as dispatching, what was your least favorite thing about it?
Oh, man. Let me bring out my list right here.
A ver.
One thing I hate about dispatching... You know what? I didn't really hate dispatching, but kind of the things that really annoyed me on dispatching was me double dispatching. I think that was probably my biggest pet peeve. Is when I have a driver call me, and I'm the dispatcher, so it's all on me.
You've done that.
Yeah, it's all on me. Yeah. Or I would give out work, and then I get in a call like, "Hey, this container's already been picked up." What the fuck? Who? Oh fuck! I gave it to Josue. He's got it. And I used to be one of my drivers, Josue. He would come in 11 o'clock in the morning, talk, pick up a container, make a run. Like, he was one of those guys.
Yeah.
But he worked for me for a long time. We worked for the company for a long time. So it was just, that's what he did. That's how he flowed.
It's his style.
It was his style. I'm not going to say don't work for me anymore because I need, at least he's giving me one load. Shit. He's giving me one. That's good. But yeah, double dispatching would probably be my biggest pet peeve is where, I'm like, hey, sorry, I fucked up. Like, I need you to go all the way across town now and go to that terminal and get a container. Piss them off,
I think at Houston, I want to say their system wouldn't let you know that someone else was already in the terminal picking up the same can. But there was something you would notice in the ticket. Like, it would say... I don't know if it would say reprint or something like that.
Oh, really?
Because there were times that we were both picking up the same can.
Yeah.
And we found out, once it's too late, once I'm looking at it go on his chassis, I'm like, hey, that's mine. No, bro, look, it's mine.
Yep.
Oh, it's yours. I'm fucked.
Yeah, so that was one of my biggest things that I didn't like was doing that thing, because it just killed my day. I lost a load, driver didn't pick one up, just push me back, and then And then on Friday, you got all these shit you got to pick up at the last day, pick everything up.
It's always been like that. Fridays? Why Fridays? Because
Monday I would miss a couple. And then they roll a Tuesday, and Tuesday's full, and then back and I'm just keep snowballing and snowballing until the end of the week. Then I'm like, shit, and then I got 50 fucking last free days to get today.
And that's stressful, right? Because the last 3 days, if you pay per diem, is it like the business hours are like a certain time, or you could pay at any time? Because people don't want to get it on Friday because I've heard that then they add fees Saturday, Sunday. So you come Monday, your shit is like humongous debt. So what is it about the weekends that people don't want to?
Can I take a break? Can we take a quick little break?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me take a little break. We'll be right back.
All right. Okay.
This coffee's getting to me.
Uh-oh. Handle it. I would like to know what was in this beverage because you had to run out of here fast as fuck, boy. What happened?
Oh, well, I'm on a liquid diet in the morning.
Liquid diet.
Yeah. So, in the morning, instead of having eggs and bacon and Egg McMuffin and breakfast burrito and stuff like that, I've kind of changed my dietary plan in the morning.
Yeah.
So I usually start my day with coffee. I'll have a protein shake.
This is going to be so off. Like
water,
Guys, we forgot where we left off for the break. So I know we talked about the double dispatching and then the bubble guts kicked in and he ran out of here. So now we'll pick up anywhere you want. Double dispatch.
Yeah. So you know what? Like I said,
breakfast routine.
My breakfast routine is I have a lot of liquids in the morning. So I do coffee.
Fuck it, let's do that. A day in the life of Daniel Baca. Let's go. You wake up, you start your liquid diet, you said?
Oh, yeah. So I love waking up in California. Bright sun, warm, feels good. I start off with a nice cup of coffee in the morning. I have a nice little protein shake, kick me started, take my vitamins, drink some water. I'm on the go, ready to go. Stroll into the office. The office is here in San Pedro. So I get that beautiful drive over the Long Beach Bridge. I get that beautiful drive over the Vincent Thomas. Roll into Long Beach. You see all the containers that are out there. You see all of it. And I'm like, good. As long as there's containers, then we know there's work. And as long as there's work, then we know that there's money to be made. And that's the key. Keep the wheels turning, right? Yeah. Whatever we got to do to keep the wheels turning.
I'm just curious, why you keep screaming?
I'm screaming. I'm passionate, I love this stuff.
You're excited?
I don't know why. I just love this stuff. I take it, I run with it. It feels good.
All right.
It feels good to, feels good. It feels good for me when I walk into a trucking company and I know that I helped them out and I see them running smooth and I see them with some money in their pocket and they're growing and things like that. It feels good. It feels good when you hang out with them, go to lunch with them, talk shop, work with them. It's fun.
Is it, let's see. It's fun. Because now you deal with a lot of companies, right? So
now I deal with a lot of companies. And I work with them to, see what we can do to improve their operations. Some of them call me in a panic.
Yeah.
Like, I am just overwhelmed. I'm losing money every single day. This is what they tell me. I had one customer tell me this. I'm spending more money than I'm making money on a daily. What can I do? What can help me? Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Let's break this down. Let's find out what's going on, and then we help dig up some things, improve certain things, and now, we can kind of clean up what they got going on. And I mean, not as far as just making sure things get picked up and delivered, but it's okay, where are you going? How much money are you making? What's the volume? What's the customer? What's the turnaround time? How much are you paying people? What are you paying your drivers? How much per diem you're getting per year from this customer? And kind of break it down. So like, okay, even though we get a lot of volume for this customer, I'd rather not do them and then do this one where it's not too much volume, but I got more revenue coming out of it.
Less demurrage.
You know, we're making a little bit extra. I'm not putting so many miles on my trucks.
Yeah.
You know, so I went through that where I'm like, fuck, I'm doing 50 containers a day for this customer, just pumping them out, you know, and making this money. And then I had another customer where I'm delivering to Bakersfield, but I'm only using, you know, probably about half my fleet for that. And I'm like, my daily revenue is pretty much the same.
So why take that risk for the long hauls then? And
so that way I'm not burning so many miles on my truck, working it 24/7. And then the Bakersfield one, you're only doing one shot to Bakersfield a day. Boom, boom. I'm like, shit, what I made on one trip on Bakersfield, I made on 4 trips going from here to, you know, Miraloma or Fontana.
And done sooner.
And my drivers aren't all stressed out. And
no scale house.
No scale. The Bakersfield, isn't there a scale house? The Bakersfield,
no, I mean locally.
Oh, yeah.
So, what's the biggest demurrage bill you got?
I told you that. Oh, demurrage?
Yeah.
On one delivery order, I think 15,000. Yeah. Because it went from printer to desk, and I don't know how it got lost. I have no clue how it went from printer. It was a small office, too. So I don't know how I got from printer to the account manager's desk. Somehow it got lost. All of a sudden, you get the phone call. Where's my containers? What containers? What are you talking about? Oh, you sent me emails saying you received it. Like, you got my order. You're good to go. I was like, okay. Show me. Like, what? Like, let me see. Give me the container numbers. Holy shit. There's like over $5,000 due on these 3 containers. Yeah. I don't know what excuse we came up with, but.
They still didn't pay that. You had to pay.
Yeah, it was worth it for us to pay because it was a big customer for the whole year and it was pretty good. So I was like, okay, we'll eat this and then we'll go and
stay with us, please.
Stay with us and we'll clean it up and don't worry about it. You know, we're good. So
the chassis one was actually bigger, but you brought it down to 10, right?
That was a per diem one. That was a per diem one.
Okay. Oh, chassis go into per diem then.
Well, that's before it was...
Before the way it is now.
Before that chassis charge and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
This was a demurrage one where just 3 containers, man. 3 containers.
A lot of bills you want to avoid, man.
Like when
it seems like keeping the track and avoiding bills is the way to go. Because what's the point of making money if it goes right out? Because you didn't know what you had, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it comes in and out differently, so it's hard to really see it. But, you know, as a... You know, running a trucking company and being the owner of it, there was many weeks where it was like, well, here's your check, and here's your check, and here's your check, and I'm just gonna put all my bills on credit for right now.
Oh man!
until I can get some extra money to pay myself a little bit, you know. But everybody thought I was rich for some reason.
The minute you take that decision to put the other stuff on credit, you know damn well that from that point on, there's got to be a course of action to catch up, because otherwise. It's not going to be a happy ending, man.
Nope. Not a happy ending. Some credit cards weren't happy endings, but you have to find ways to, you know, to maximize your revenue.
Afloat, right?
Maximize your revenue. You're like, okay, you got to cut this bicycles. Oh, man. We need to cut down on this bullshit.
Is it true that steamship lines, they have, like, long periods of wait before they pay you? Someone mentioned on one of the podcasts 6 months, man.
I used to be an in-house trucker for Steamship Line.
Okay.
2. In fact, I was a preferred carrier for 2 steamship lines.
So it's true.
Yeah, there were good accounts. There were really good accounts, high volume.
Why do they do that, though?
Because they go through them, and the steamship line we got our own carriers that handle it. So if you come with us, we handle everything. And then
this is how we pay.
Yeah, but then they call the carrier, hey, this is what we're going to pay you for this run. And then sometimes you're like 90 days out. There'll be 90 days before they'll cut you a check, and you're like $80,000-$90,000. You know, owed to them. You've been moving, you know, 20, 30 containers a day for them. And then you ask for 90,000 and they pay you 50. You're like, great. What the fuck?
Yeah, I think episode 10, he said up to 6 months, man.
Some of them 6 months. Wow.
Imagine that.
Wow. So what do you do?
You got to have your money using your funds to pay the people and keep them happy.
I mean, that trickles all the way down to, you know, the independent contractor that's working for you too, you know, like that money needs to feed everybody down the line. So if I'm waiting, I'm pretty sure he's going to have to wait too.
No, they don't want that. They don't want that.
Nobody wants to wait.
Everybody wants to get paid on Friday, you know.
Exactly.
Or as agreed.
Yeah,
and none of these guys are going to agree to wait 6 months.
Not 6 months, but before, owner-operators would have to wait 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's like, hey, I'm funding all my fuel, everything. I'm even paying you for parking, and I got to wait 2 weeks.
But a lot of us had it easy, but it also conditioned us in a way that to be comfortable there so you don't venture out. Because a lot of companies, they offered fuel cards, they offered the free parking, they offered this and that to keep you happy, right? So some would even front the diesel loan. Next thing you know, you're in debt with them, so now you're even more stuck there. Because, I mean, you could leave. I mean, it's if that's your style, but
yeah, I've had truckers leave. I know a lot of fuel bill on.
Yeah, what's the biggest fuel bill they bailed out on?
$500.
$500? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's like a week.
That's not bad. I'm very thankful. I had a company I was working with, and the fact that I got in so much debt is not even their fault. They just kept helping me out. The biggest bill I had for fuel was $10,000.
Wow.
And then it felt like it happened overnight. Next thing I know, oh shit, I owe 10. I still managed to work it out. It was a fucked up, a lot of juggling.
Yeah.
There's the time for the arrest. I had to come up with money for the attorney. Had to do this and that. Somebody helped me out. I pawned the truck. Pawn it, no title loan, right? So then from that I paid attorney's fees. Then someone gave me. Then I sold it to that guy that I owed $10,000, so he deducted what I owed. I'm like, hey, just pay the pawn, pay the title loan, please, and I'll sell it to you for this much. Give them this much, deduct what I owe you. All in, I ended up with like $3,000 free for me, right? But it's just the big mix-up that I went through because of bad finances and bad choices, obviously. But $10,000, man.
That's a lot.
There's got to be a point where you see, like, I'm doing something wrong here. Like, I definitely did something wrong to end up with $10,000 in fuel debt and then still not be financially where I need to be. As an owner-op, come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to run 11 hours a day and then be able to manage your day at the same time and then start the next day. Like, you have to eat. You have to sleep.
Yeah. The thing is just... you got that money coming in and you get comfortable, like, it's going to come in next week again. I'll just spend this. Next week I'll save. Next week I'll save. You never fucking save. What
would it be cool if you can just, I mean, the office is the truck cab, right? That's your office.
Yeah.
So, I mean, being an operator, you definitely you work, you're in your truck, you work, and then you go home, and then now you're at the home office and you're doing all your paperwork and sending out invoices and cleaning up your stuff before you turn it in. So, what if you just turn the cab into a home office? Mm-hmm. There's internet. You can get hotspots and work from your phone. Just turn the cab into an office. Get it done here and not have to do it at home.
Yeah, so when you're home, it's quality time, not...
Yeah, like let me put my paperwork together or let me get in my QuickBooks and create some invoices for these guys, Or, a lot of friends of mine would just do it on Friday. Yeah. Work a half a day on Friday, and then Friday afternoon they'd just be sending out their invoices, dropping off paperwork, like doing all that stuff on Friday. You
know a thing or two about QuickBooks?
Not really. No, I know QuickBooks. I know accounting software, stuff like that, like how to use it and do the basics, stuff like that. Print out reports for the insurance.
I got it. I thought it was as easy as just getting it and then linking the bank to it, and then it would just do everything for me. But there's some stuff you got to go in there and manually assign it to, a category.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty cool at the end of the year how it separates stuff. So.
Yep. Credit cards do that for you too now. Credit card companies, if you swipe a credit card, they can lock it in expense. Or I've seen an app where you take pictures of all your receipts, and then you can say, this is an expense, this is for this is for that, and you can put it into its own little category. Oh. So that way, at the end of the year, you got pictures of all your receipts that are for, business and personal and lunches and whatnot. And you can just kind of categorize everything.
And you're ready for that audit.
You're ready for that audit.
If you ever get it. We don't want that.
But... No, because right now I have a stack of receipts that I'm like, I don't even know. Or I should have took a picture of the receipt, or where's the receipt for that? Should have, could have, would have, but at least taking a picture of the moment, like, okay, I got it, cool.
But I think now the actual statement counts as well. Like that's why it's important to link the card, the business card, and use that for business only.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we'll see if that's true. That's how I'm gonna do it this year. I'm gonna go based on all the purchases I made from that business card. You know what I mean?
Yeah, get it all set up. That way, when you're doing your daily work and going through your day, it's kind of already set up for you.
Yeah.
Just kind of like push it through.
Just whatever you pay cash, then keep a little box of the cash purchases because they're not gonna
That could work.
they're not gonna pop up on your statement, obviously. You know, and then there's all these changes going on. It's like tax this, tax that. The Zelle one. So now if I send my girl money on Zelle, like she's gonna get taxed for that. From my understanding, I need to look into that. But there's all these every year something new, man.
I read it's only like business to business. You know, like if you pay your
it?
gardener through Zelle, and he's got a business account
Yes.
set up at the bank, then that's how it's gonna be taxed. I think from like person to person, non-business account to a non-business account. I'm not sure if they're gonna tax that. I think more so they're leaning toward just the small business.
Yeah, because someone made an argument like that's not right. Because if I bought a big screen TV, I pay taxes at the store, right? The state tax or sales tax. I take it home. I use it 6 months. I sell it. I bought it for 600. Then I sell it for, let's say, 500. I know that's a lot for a used one, right? But just for demonstration purposes. So he's like, I'm gonna get taxed for something that I already paid taxes on, that I already owned. You know, it's not like, you get me,
Yeah.
like double tax, triple tax.
I think it's more so for these gig workers, the gig workers, you know, like gardeners and hair salon or my barber, you know, those type of guys, car wash guy, you know, like those guys that are just
I'll
working
look into
freely
it because
and selling everything to their business account and not paying any taxes on that.
yeah, because I thought they were trying to get people that have personal accounts and they're avoiding opening a corporation. They're just working through the back door, like cash, 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 cash. Well, now you can't avoid it. We're gonna get you regardless.
Yeah, they'll find a way. Uncle Sam will find a way to get you.
Yeah.
Watch out for Uncle Sam. He's always watching. Yeah, he's around here somewhere.
Here we go. So, with all the experience in trucking, what tips would you give for a new company doing business in drayage today?
Oh, like I said before, you know, stay organized. Stay organized. That way you can just cut your costs. Because I think for me that was the biggest issue is these extra costs that they want to go out and get the carrier on or customer on or just some type of cost like that. You know, it's no longer just a fee to get you to turn a container back in anymore. Now it's a major revenue stream for them. They're making millions and millions of dollars off of these little revenue streams that are funding other projects. So one way or another, they're going to get you. So let's just try to being able to stay organized enough to minimize those things, you know, and cut costs. That's it. Try to stay organized and cut costs. Try to establish a really good rapport with your customers. So that way, if they move to a different steamship line or, you know, change the flow of the way they're importing the stuff, that they will stick with you. This is my carrier. I always work with him. He's good. Give him the work. You know, I've been into meetings where I would have that from the customer to tell the steamship line. The steamship line would tell the customer, great, I'm glad you signed with us. Better deal. We have our own trucks, our own in-house carriers that will service you. The customer's like, no, this is my carrier. Give them 60% of the freight per vessel.
Yeah.
So you have that connection with your customer. So develop that, not just updates and all those basic stuff. You know, you want to develop a nice little good relationship with your customers so that way they can see how good well you work, give you more work. You know, especially if you work with a broker, you know, the broker starts to trust you more. And okay, that's great. I gave you that work, but let me give you some of this higher end stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, these guys that pay a little bit more for good service.
Yeah.
You know, keep your drivers happy with some good equipment, you know. I mean, you know, they're sitting in that truck 11, 14 hours a day.
AC.
You know, AC.
If you could invest in a break room, you know, a little something.
You know what? For me, it was always great coffee. Like, that was it.
You obviously have some good coffee, man.
Yeah, so I would always have the best coffee maker, the best coffee beans that I can find, and have enough of it for my drivers. So that way, they look forward to coming to work. Shit, I want to go to work early. He's going to have a nice, good, fresh pot of some really good coffee there. So, keep them flowing that way, or not charge for the vending machine. If you want a soda, just press the button and grab a soda. Not make my drivers stick $1 in there.
Yeah.
Do stuff like that, or
take the dollars out and do the carne asada with.
There you go. Yeah, do that. One time I had a taco guy. It was a Saturday, and it was just nothing but just port hustle. That's all we were doing that day. It empties in, loads out all day long.
Yeah.
7 a.m. to 5. And I had a taco guy there, so they're just boom. They drop their container.
They want a taco.
Get a taco, eat, get a soda, go take it empty, go back, and I'm just in there with the yard truck, just dropping the load, pulling it empty for them. Dropping the load, pulling it empty. No complaints. No, I don't want that one. Why are you sending me there? We all knew we needed to do. And another thing is just be honest with everybody. Hey, this is the fucking work we got this week.
They're still not going to believe you, but...
It's not going to believe me, but eventually, this is the fucking work we got this week. Fucking got to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm trying to get better work. Like, I want to get more money too. You make money, I make money. So, let's do it. I don't want to take that container. Look, I'd rather pay you extra than pay the terminal.
Yeah.
So, I need you to hustle. So, just that type of rapport with your employees and drivers and customers, things like that. And that'll develop you a good reputation, a good flow. People would want to work with you.
Can you tell us a little more about the structure, if you can? Because a lot of us don't know exactly in what order things happen, like the whole lifespan of a container. Like the beneficial cargo owner, when does the steamship line come into play, the carriers, you know what I mean? Like, because we just see like containers in the terminal and we go get them, but there's a rhythm, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, for me, all I cared about was getting it out for the customer.
Yeah.
That was it. Like, they would tell me, we have 110 containers on this vessel. They're all yours. To get them out, bring them in, let us know when, all that. So, being in communication with the terminal, just constantly checking them, looking them up, make sure you get them out on time, relaying that information to the customer, letting them know, hey, this is what we got. These are available. These aren't. These been in a closed area all fucking week. Like, as soon as they come available, I don't know if I'm going to get this. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. Letting them know what's up.
But how does it go? Like, how does a certain product end up in a certain container? Like, who dictates that?
I don't know about all that. No.
Okay.
I can't dive into that,
But I'm very curious about that. Like, the whole web, 'Cause
ordering product and stuffing it in and...
Yeah, let's say a certain discount store, a chain, right? A humongous distributor or whatever here in the U.S. They say, oh, we're going to go with this steamship line, Evergreen, OCL, whatever they choose. And then just the process, like, so then they're like, okay, now we need a trucker. We choose Daniel Baca Express. Like, those steps, like how that works, like, it's just... a lot of stuff going on, and I want to understand it.
Well, I usually got approached from either word of mouth, or I've worked for a customer and they refer me to somebody else that they're working with now and say, hey, these guys are pretty good. I'll get a call like, hey, can you move freight for us? We got freight coming in. We need a new carrier. Our last carrier failed or couldn't do it or whatever reason, and we need help. We got more coming in. I heard you guys are good at it. I'm like, yeah, what do you need done? Can you move 200? Sure, no problem. Send the work over. Hey, we got 200 fucking containers. How are we going to do it? I don't know. Should we just go buy trucks? I don't know. We can't buy trucks anymore these days. At least not that fast.
Yeah.
But, yep.
Figure it out as you go.
But that can be very expensive sometimes. Figure it out as you go. But, as long as you stay organized, have a good rapport with your customers, have good rapport with your employees, drivers, or even the independent guys, Not saying doing everything for them, but just be a good leader. be a good leader.
Yeah, if you help them, you help your operation as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything flows.
Ideally, it's like, yeah, I do want you to pull as many loads as you can. Sometimes shit's bad, but it is what it is. Nothing you can do about that.
So, why did you choose the tech side of trucking?
Okay, well,
you were more like hands-on on the operations, and now you're on the tech side of trucking. You're still in the industry, but why did you choose this?
Well, I mean, the business was running good. At this point, the business was running steady. I was still kind of young, and it was just pretty round the clock. We knew what was coming in. We were able to schedule it. Boom, everything just flowing smooth. So for me, it got pretty boring. I'm like, okay, is this going to be it for me? Like, am I done here?
Okay, like a plateau?
Yeah, like I'm plateauing here. Like, am I done? Like, everything's flowing. It's good. We're not going to grow. We're already set. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go out and buy more trucks. And if it is, maybe it'll be 1 or 2 trucks a year, if that. So I was like, okay, it's plateauing. What's next? What do I want to do next? What can I learn more? So flatbeds. I want to do flatbeds next. So I was like, hey, what's flatbeds? So broke myself off from the company. Went to a big flatbed company out there in Santa Ana. And the owner and the wife just got a divorce. The wife just took it. She just kind of I guess she won everything in the lawsuit. I don't know. But she ended up taking over the business. Not doing anything. So she's looking for people. I was like, cool, this would be a great opportunity to jump in and kind of learn and develop and see what I can do with flatbeds. And fucking hated it.
Oh, wow.
It's just a lot. The driver's is a whole different breed, because they're working nonstop. Flatbed drivers just don't stop, no breaks, hours of service. Like, they just keep going so much.
Yeah.
There's a lot of liable stuff out there too. Like, simple frayed strap can cause loose cargo. Who knows what damage that can be? So everything's got to be to the T. Training drivers, unloading stuff, just a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on. And then the owner was a little bit of a micromanager too, so it just seemed a little off, and I couldn't really plant myself there.
What's the micromanager? What would define that? Like what is like?
She's like, I don't want to tell you what to do. Do what you need to do. Run it. Okay. All right. What are you doing? How are you doing it like that? You should do it like this. That's not the way I like to do it.
Oh,
do it like this.
Okay.
Do it like that. So I'm like,
so
okay.
do it your way, but do it my way.
Yeah.
Which is it?
Yeah. Tell me how you want to do it, and then I'll approve it kind of way.
Oh.
And if I don't approve it, this is how I want you to do it.
They want to, well, okay.
So it was kind of like, all right.
How long did that go on?
I don't know. Several months.
Months, huh?
Yeah, because I was right away. You try to put new processes in place, new procedures, create stuff, cover your ass on safety, try to get some resolve driver problems and, all those things. And everybody's like, nope. And the owner's like, nope. So it's like, okay, what am I doing?
With the executive decision.
Yeah, the executive decision was hit with me, yeah. So what do you do? It's like, okay, what am I doing? Am I here to help, or am I just here to be your little puppy and follow you around? And
oh, shit.
So I'm like, that wasn't me.
You snapped.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to just do whatever you say and just ride this wave and collect a check. That's not why I moved on.
At that point, had you bought in? Had you bought into the company, or you went into?
No, I just went in.
Okay.
I just went in, and I was like, I'm done. And then I saw an opportunity from one of these TMS companies out there. I was like, hey, I could dig up my old IT skills, and I can combine it with trucking. So there we go. I liked it. I was like, okay, this is cool. I like, I can work with these programs and go in there. And then now I'm talking to trucking companies, not just, hey, you need this software, but so much more like, okay, how can this help you? How can this benefit you? Mm-hmm. Then you start talking. Then you start working with them. Then you go to their office. Then you visit them. Then you hear success stories, and then you start figuring out, okay, what works and what doesn't work. And that just started evolving. That just involved a lot. So then I got an opportunity to travel. Hey, I go to Seattle and work with the trucking companies in Seattle and see how they operate in Oakland and LA and, on the East Coast and Georgia and, work with those companies and see how they work and how they flow and what goes on over there. And then you just get a better understanding of more of a, how everything works in the United States as a whole, how different terminals operate, where do they flow from, where do they go, rails, and just kind of see everything as a whole that way.
Despite the demographics, there's something that they all have in common, no matter where they are.
Well, the terminal flow is common. The equipment they move and the routes that they take and short haul and drayage. Well, drayage is short haul, so moving freight like that. So, there's a lot of things in common. Same issues, same problems, waiting times,
Avoid fees.
Avoid fees, definitely. Trucks and driver retention and all the things that people have in play. You see some crazy stuff out there in dispatching, though. So, yeah, you see the T-cards. There's some companies that still exist on those T-cards out there. Yep. There's still companies out there come across where it's the whole gigantic tables laid out of orders on paper, like printed out orders.
Yeah.
And then they just have another printed out order of papers in their hand, and they're like, okay, this empty will match with this load. This empty will match with this load.
Yeah.
And they go through and they schedule it all that way, and then the dispatchers kind of come across a table, and everybody's interacting. The whole dispatch is running off that table. And they're like, okay, all right, driver, you'll do this one here, and write his name on it, and make a copy of it, and then put it on back on, and they'll have a copy of the driver's name on it this time. But it's just a copy in the official paperwork handed to the driver, and then the driver completes his work that way.
Yeah.
So that way, I've seen companies where pieces of paper about the size of this table, and everybody writes on it what's going on, and they just pass that around the office, and everybody just updates
The
color
notes
codes
on that.
and notes
Yeah.
and all that, and that goes up billing. And billing has this big gigantic sheet where they're just checking off invoices and see what's paid and not paid and collecting all that data. And I've seen them that way.
Wow.
I've seen companies that are completely paperless.
But they kind of get to stay that size, because if they get any bigger, I don't think that will work.
No, that's what I tell them.
That table management.
Yeah, this is like if you're adding 10 more loads to that, you're going to need another person to help, and then all
Another
this stuff.
table.
Another table. Yeah, definitely. You're going to need another table for that piece of paper to build it up.
Where do you see the drayage industry going in the future?
Well, I'm glad it's getting exposed to what we do here.
Yes.
Not just a container delivery, but now it's a little more exposure. Whether good or bad doesn't matter. What do they say? Bad press is good press, or whatever.
Yeah,
they
no
say.
such thing as bad publicity.
Such thing as bad publicity. So people are understanding, what goes on here, and more exposure, not just to how it flows, but what the drivers are going through, what companies are going through, the fees now that are being pushed out there, the rates are kind of letting people know what's the going rate now, or how much it is, and stuff like that. Or how come why they don't want to deliver it? How come they won't deliver it? Oh, why? Let's see why. People are now explaining it to media. They're explaining it to, other sources out there, and letting them know what's going on. So, which is good. It gives us an opportunity to have a little bit of a louder voice now, and really see what's going on. So, I see, the people taking this value in it. I mean, there's millions. Sometimes these containers could be worth $10,000-$20,000 worth of merchandise inside, or maybe $1 million worth of merchandise inside. Who knows?
They just found 4 containers that were stolen, valued at $900,000.
Wow.
That driver probably made like $100 or $400.
Yeah, you see, the driver made $400.
So there's money in it.
Yeah, it's a lot of value. A lot of value is in that box.
Yeah.
So if you,
we got to see it more than just a container.
Yeah, we got to respect the value in that container. You want good equipment to pull it. You want, a responsible driver to be able to be responsible for that thing if anything happens. Not just dump it somewhere and be like, whatever, I'm getting paid $100 for this thing. Like, I don't care. Or I'm park it right here and they'll pick it up tomorrow.
Or not. Or the tow truck will pick it up.
Or the tow truck pick it up and whatever. I'm not going to go try to do anything for it, and do all that. So, yeah, container theft is huge. Talking to an insurance lady, it's huge. Even beyond what they discovered recently, but it's always been a big thing.
One of the biggest surge was, I believe, when the flat screen TVs came out. Ooh. Yeah, up in Oakland, that was a big issue. They were stealing them left and right. But
I had a couple containers stolen.
Yeah.
I had 3 stolen out of my yard. And they stole my trucks to move them. That's the worst.
It's funny how some of these containers are taken, and how convenient or how coincidental that you knew exactly what was in that container. You know?
Yeah. Well, here's my opinion. Look, if you need to pay me a certain amount to pull it from A to B, all right, I get it. You're going to use my truck. I'm going to drive it. That's fair and a fair amount. But there's a whole thing I need to do to even get in there and get it out. You know, I can't just drive into the terminal and say, hey, I need this box. No, you have to be registered as a driver to get in. Your vehicle has to be registered with the ports to get in.
TWIC card.
TWIC card. You got to be registered with the government to even get in.
License.
So, registered by the state to get in. So the state's got to approve you with a Class A license to even get in and drive it. Then the government's got to let you in with the TWIC card. Then the terminal's got to let you in with having a valid truck, a compliant truck. You know, and then you got to be at least registered to move this freight with a company of some sort.
Yeah, RFID tag.
RFID tag you got to pay for to get in. So you got to go through all these checks.
Appointment.
To get in there. And appointment. Now you got to be able to have an account to schedule an appointment to get it out of there. So you got to go through all these things to get it out. So that's a whole different thing. I get it. You're going to pay me $400, $500 to move it. I get that. But how much are you going to pay me to get this thing out? You know, what's your port transaction fee or whatever you want to call it? This is how much we charge to go through all that just to get it out. And I have to return it too. I can't just take it to you and you're done with it. No, I got to get it back in good shape. And if I don't do that, then now I'm paying the surcharge just because. So all that drama to go in, right? I still got to have the same requirements. I still got to have the same TWIC card. All that stuff is still valid. It needs to be in place for me to even go in and return it.
Yeah.
So what does all that mean? You know, that's a whole nother thing. So I think that should be addressed more than just how much to pull it out and go. No, I need how much for me to actually go in there and get this thing out.
Oh, you think that should be an additional fee in the near future? Like another part of the service?
Yeah, because it's a completely different service.
Oh, because right now the current model is everything's factored in and to
everything's
one
factored in.
You know, that's a good perspective. I wonder how that would play out. If
Like, yeah, I'll move it. No problem. You want to move it from Port of LA to, you know, Los Angeles? $500? No problem. $2 a mile. Very fair rate. Just like over the road. A to B. Fair rate. Mm-hmm. But now there's whole terminal access that I have to go through and be approved for and be, you know, accepted to even go in there and get it. I have to learn rules, right? I can't just go in there and be like, hey, give me a box. No, I got to know rules. I got to know procedures.
Yeah, a lot of companies learn those rules with fees and fines.
Mm-hmm. There's drivers that have to go to APM classes on Friday and pay $100 or whatever. I don't know if that still exists, but
I don't know, but it was for safety purposes. Yeah. You ran that stop sign and this lady chased you down.
Yep.
Something they won't even tell you. They just write your plate down. You show up, and that's how you found out. I mean, they say that they email the company, but sometimes the dispatch doesn't always let the drivers know because they got all this other shit going on, you know?
Exactly. So being able to, you know, there's a fee for that. Not everybody can go in there. You know, remember that whole clean truck thing come out? Truckers used to come to my yard, drop containers off, and just have me turn it in for them because that was the only one that was clean truck compliant to go in there, and I have to pay that $100 a day port access fee it was back then when they just give you a little purple sticker or a green sticker you used to stick on your truck. They would see that and they're like, okay, you're good. You can come in. If you didn't have that sticker, it was like, wait, you can't come in here and stuff like that. So I think that should be an additional fee. Like, yeah, I'll move it for $500, but it's going to cost you $200 for me just to go in and get this thing out and return it.
Yeah.
You know, let's start.
All right. Well, definitely a lot of value in this session. And do you have anything you would like to add before we wrap this up?
I just think today's carrier has a lot of good tools that they can use to make work life a lot easier. You know, like I said, from experience, you know, if I had the tools I had today, I probably wouldn't have got as many fights as I did with my wife.
Yeah.
Over business questions, you know, or issues, things like that. Or even with the family, not even fighting with them anymore over this didn't get picked up, or who's going to pick it up, or what happened, or I got to pay $5,000 for this and all this stuff. And I think there's a lot of tools out there that can really help them out and be, like I said, create that whole work-life balance, easier to do things, more visibility, kind of just, help them become a better carrier.
Yeah.
And also, use those tools to create a better relationship with their customers too. Customers tell me, I talk to customers a lot too, BCOs, shippers, they tell me their issues with carriers and truckers and what they want and kind of like wish they can do and make their life easier as well too. So yeah, that's the whole goal.
All right.
That's the whole goal.
Well, Daniel, thank you for coming by, and thank you guys for listening and tuning in. Where can they reach you if they have any questions?
Well, I currently work, like I said, VP of Carrier Success for PortPro. Mm-hmm. So the PortPro website, portpro.io, or you can email me at daniel@portpro.io. We can, talk about your operations, see what gaps we can fill in, and see what we can do to just improve it overall.
All right. There it is, guys. Thank you once again for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next episode of the KONTAINEROZ podcast.